It is finally time to discuss the cream of the crop. Today I'm going to be talking about the best books that I have read in 2024. Welcome back to Mr. Francy Reads! Let's go! Yes, hello and welcome back to Mr. Francy Reads. I am touched that you have once again chosen to join me, or if you're new, hello and welcome, in this video today because I am going to be discussing the best books. Which are the books that rose to the top, that, just like the cream, it rises to the top. Which ones were the best of the best? Let's jump right on in. So the first book I'm going to put up on the screen because it's in a box set, and once you take one book out of a box set, it's really hard to put it back, so it's just not worth it. Let's put it up there. It is 5 on Finiston Farm. This book, as well as the series, are middle grade classics that revolve around 5 beings. We have George, her dog Timmy, and George's cousins, Julian, Anne, and Dick, and whenever they go on summer break or any kind of a holiday vacation from school, they all meet up together and go on wonderful adventures where they're trying to solve mysteries. I love the series overall. They end up going away to a farmhouse, which is really fascinating because while they are there at this farmhouse that we've never seen before, we get to know the owners and their children, which is very lovely, but the owners are struggling at the moment because their farm is not doing so well, entering this really smarmy villain who, aren't they just the worst type of villain, the smarmy ones? And basically he wants to buy the farm, and he is very much convincing the father of the children's friends that they've made. Anyway, the owner of the farm to sell because the villain is trying to say that it'll be in his best interest, when the children know that it definitely wouldn't be in his best interest, 1, to sell, and 2, to sell to this guy. So yeah. One interesting thing about this book is that a secret way pops up, a secret passageway, and secret passageways pop up probably in, I don't want to say half of the series because, it's probably wrong, so I'll say about a third of the series. Each book in a third of the series contains a secret passageway, and that really intrigues me. This one does too, and that secret passageway leads to something really, really interesting. It was just really a fantastic read. Everything, just done for the right reasons. A truly enjoyable time at the farmhouse with the friends that the 5 make, and trying to save this farm. Really, really enjoyed it, and I do highly recommend. So, none of these books are in any kind of a ranking order. I love them all equally. So, there you go. And also, I have just ordered these for the sake of when I'm showing them to you in this video by age rating. So I have 2 middle grades, 1 young adult, and 5 adult books. So something for everyone of every age range. And so now that you know that, we'll continue on. The next book that I'm going to talk to you all about, that was another best book for me for 2024, is a book that was recommended to me directly and indirectly many times. And I am going to be the first to say that I've learned many lessons about myself when it comes to reading in 2024. And one of them is, if at first y'all don't succeed when recommending a book or series to me, please persist, because I will remember that you've recommended it to me and it will get onto my TBR. I am so glad that this book was indirectly as well as directly recommended to me many times, because it finally got me onto reading it and I loved it. So I want to give a massive shout out here to my dear friend Johara from The Witchy Reader. Thank you so much for your persistence in getting me to finally pick up The Quest Begins by Erin Hunter, book number 1 in the Seekers series. Anyone who knows Johara knows how much she loves this series. Arguably, she Nobody loves this series more than I love Era 1 of Mistborn, and you'll know how much I love that series. But I'm so glad I finally did pick it up because it was amazing. So this is a middle grade adventure book by Erin Hunter, and I just found out something very interesting, that Erin Hunter is actually a pen name for 7 different female authors who come together to write books together. Just fantastic stuff. I love seeing collaboration in any form, and when it comes to writing books, I don't feel like it happens often enough. And despite the fact that this name on the cover, Erin Hunter, is a pen name, I think it's absolutely wonderful to see 7 different female authors coming together to write works together. It's just absolutely amazing. In this book, one thing I can tell you spoiler free is that we follow 3 different bears, as you can see on the cover, on the beautiful cover, by the way. How gorgeous is this cover? But yeah, 3 bears there. So we follow Kalik and Toklo, and one more, who is Lusa, and I can't find Lusa's name. It's because of where Lusa's name is, and in the bear bowl of a zoo, young black bear Lusa plays and blah blah blah, where with the others their names are literally at the start of every paragraph, so that's why I struggled to find it. But anyway, yeah, so we follow Kalik, Toklo, and Lusa. So in this particular book, where, as the title suggests, the quest begins, we follow the 3 different perspectives of those different bears as they, for one reason or another, need to leave their family and venture out off on their own. It was a truly beautiful read. One thing that I found to be really interesting is that there were some really cruel moments that happened in the book. Now, cruelty from one animal to another. I'll give you an example without spoiling anything. One of the bears, they're all like really young cubs, by the way, so don't think they're these big adult grown bears. They're young cubs, which again makes it incredibly adorable. But one of the young cubs ends up finding this adult bear somewhere on their journey, and they're trying to get food because they haven't eaten for a while, and this adult bear just doesn't want anything to do with the cub and is extremely rude, and all I could think was, it's a little baby cub, like, come on. But honestly, this book was just really cute, so beautiful. If you are someone who loves cozier types of books, I highly recommend this one. Next up is my one YA best book for 2024, and that would have to be Red Queen by Victoria Aveyard. This is book number 1 in the... Okay, the reason why I struggled with remembering the series name is because this is the titular book of the series. It is Red Queen, book 1 in the Red Queen series. So yeah, I just had forgotten temporarily. Anyway, it's by Victoria Aveyard, and this is a YA dystopian. Now, I know what my regulars are gonna say, which is, but Mr. Francy, you hated the Red Queen series. Yeah, I absolutely did, but I loved book 1. With this one, very quickly, we follow a girl by the name of Mare, I believe. Yeah, so we follow a girl by the name of Mare, and what breaks up the citizens in this particular dystopian world is that there are 2 types of blood that you may carry in your veins. One is silver, the other is red, and the silvers are basically the ones that, you know, dominate the world. They're in charge. So obviously Mare has red blood, but it's interesting because this is a world where the reason why the silvers, those with silver blood, are in charge is because they have magical abilities. The reds don't. But this red, Mare, it turns out, does. Now that's not a spoiler. Saying what her ability is would be, so I won't say that, but she does. And so of course this is extremely fascinating because how in the heck can a red have a magical ability? Also, of course, she wants to try and tear down the tyrannical system built up by the silvers. Now that she has this magical ability, she will be seen as a silver, provided no one accidentally cuts her so she bleeds red, if you know what I mean. But yeah, really, really a fantastic book, and while I can't, in good conscience, subjectively recommend the series as a whole, I absolutely can recommend and do recommend book 1 as a standalone. It's not a standalone standalone, but in my view, as a standalone, I highly recommend this. Really up there with some of the best dystopians I've ever read. Now on to adult section, and first up we have Origins of an Academy Bully by Caroline Peckham and Suzanne Valenti, which is book 0.5, don't know if you can see that, 0.5 in the Zodiac Academy series. So this is basically where it all begins. Usually traditional readers will start with book 1 in a series, and that's completely understandable. I don't think this was written prior to book 1, but post book 1 at some point in the series, Caroline Peckham and Susan Valenti decided to go back and write this novella to explain some things that are going on. One of the main perspectives we follow in the series is a guy named Darius. Darius is Darius is a fae. Everyone at the school is a fae, and another character, Orion, are magically connected, bound to each other. And what I loved about this book is it actually goes back and shows us how that happened, where in the first couple of books in the series, we're just basically told that this is the case and we run along with it. So I love that they went back and said, no, let's show you how this happened. And yay, I was absolutely there for it. I highly recommend the series. I feel like the series does get a bad rep, and I don't know why. So if you know why, let me know in the comments below. But I thought it was absolutely fantastic. Warning, spice level, it's like 5 out of 5 chilies spice level, so do be warned for that going in. Maybe that's why it has a bad rep. But if you don't mind high spice in your amazing fantasies, then I highly recommend jumping into this series and giving it a go, because oh my goodness, is the world building so fantastic. Speaking of novellas, next up we have Dawn Shard by Brandon Sanderson. This is book number 3.5 in the Stormlight Archive series. I read this as a prelude to picking up Rhythm of War this month in December, and I absolutely loved it. So if we follow a whole host of characters in Zodiac Academy, we follow even more, like to many different powers more in Stormlight Archives. So it's great when Brandon Sanderson takes a moment to have novellas that will put a spotlight on certain characters that we don't follow that often. So 3 particular characters that we follow are Risen, the Lopen, and Cord. And yeah, I just really loved this book so much. If you're a fan of Stormlight Archives, I highly recommend don't skip the novellas. Well, I didn't like Edge Dancer, I'll be honest, but I loved Dawn Shard a lot. I'm just going to read you a couple of very quick quotes from this book, which show part of the reason why I loved it. And one of them is, that is a shallow way of looking at it, Nikhil. You can support me without denigrating others, which is what Risen says. Someone else says, that was small of me. Risen then responds and says, no. Just human of you. And it's just really beautiful. Another quote is, I was scared of places not home, and now I find things that make scared are also things that make interesting. And yeah, while that doesn't sound like proper English, the person who's speaking isn't. English is not their first language. And that is Cord. And oh my gosh, beautiful. Really, really, really well put, even though it's not in straightforward English. I highly recommend. And my goodness, this is the most beautiful novella I think I own. It is a hardcover. And oh my gosh. It's just really beautiful for a novella. The next book that I want to show you that was an absolute best book for me is this book, Gifts, Glamping and Glocks by Tonya Kappas, which is book number 29 in the Camper and Criminals Cozy Mystery series. This is not the only Christmas book in the series, but the other one or other two, however many there are, but I remember at least one more. The others were nowhere near as Christmassy as this one was. It was Christmas, 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 and it was just so fantastic. Lots of different things going on in this book that checked every box for me, deserving of the 5 stars that it received, and I highly recommend this book. I don't recommend every single book in Camper and Criminals, I have to be honest. I just don't, subjectively. But I do recommend this one. Highly recommend this one. Next up, Corpse at the Captain's Seat, which is book number 8 in the Secrets and Scrabble. I'm trying to not include an S if there's no S in a word. I'm so saying Campers and Criminals and Secrets and Scrabbles, but yeah, it is Secrets and Scrabble series by Josh Lanyon. This is a male adult cozy mystery series, as is Campers and Criminal, in case you didn't know. No? Camper and Criminals. In case you didn't know, both are adult cozies, but this one is a male adult cozy mystery series, which I absolutely love. We follow a man by the name of Ellery Page. Yeah, in this particular one, what really fascinated me was the whole, we had the whole closed room mystery trope, if that makes sense. I love that situation. For those of you who don't know, the closed room mystery trope is basically where everyone that could have been the person that created whatever the mystery is, because it's not always a death, has to be someone in a particular area because they're closed in, caved in, locked in to that area, so it can't possibly have been anyone else. And I love the, closed room, or however you say it, trope in mysteries in general. And this was just fantastic. It heavily reminded me of, have you ever seen the series, have you ever read the book series, seen the movie adaptations, or played the game of Clue, or known in Australia as Cluedo? Oh my gosh, definitely reminded me of that in so many ways, and was just so much fun. I love the series as a whole. I think that the series is just really compelling, but one big reason I would give you to pick up this series if you are an avid lover of cozy mysteries is that, one, we do follow a male protagonist, which is not the norm, and two, this male protagonist just so happens to be gay. So if you're looking for some sort of diversity in mixing up how the cozy mystery is presented and laid out and who we follow and things like that, I highly recommend giving this series a go because it is very different to your standard cozy mystery. And the final book I'm going to be discussing today is How to Save a Human by Alice Winters. This is the only book in 2024 that actually made me cry. And if a book is going to evoke any sort of emotion in me, that is just full credit to the author. But if that emotion is actually going to produce tears from me, then I elevate it to an even higher experience. Without giving away too much, in each book in this series we follow two completely different perspectives. And this particular one of those perspectives is River. River has this magical ability. Oh, by the way, the genre for this is adult male paranormal fantasy. Yeah, so it's like all of that in one. Please don't go in, if I say this is male thinking it's a romance and that's it. It's not. It's a male paranormal fantasy. There is some spice, but the main focus is paranormal fantasy. So River is an empath. He has the ability to feel and absorb other people's emotions as well as other things that people are going through, which is, wow, like what an incredibly selfless ability that has been thrust upon this guy who probably didn't want the ability, but oh my gosh, incredibly selfless, and bless him. And there are some moments in the book that, oh my goodness, as I say, just brought me to tears with what he was going through. I very strongly resonated with this character. Oh my goodness, if you're looking for a tear-jerker, trust me when I say pick up this book because, oh my goodness, all I'm gonna say is this. If you've seen the OG series of Charmed and you've seen that episode where Prue receives the ability to become an empath herself, but she wasn't meant to be, and the consequences and how dire they were, that will give you on a very low level some idea of what River goes through in this book. Oh my gosh, it was very hard emotionally to read, but oh my gosh, was it written so incredibly well. And now for everyone's favourite game that we like to call Up. These are most of the books that I discussed that made it onto my 2024 best books of the year. What were some of your best books of 2024 that you read? Let me know in the comments section below. I can't wait to read about it. But the party doesn't end here. It continues on over on the Discord server that I run called the Sparkle Cafe. We refer to that as the after party. So if you want to come along and join us in the after party, the link to my Discord is in the description, but it's also in a pinned comment for ease of access. Alright, don't think I've left anything out other than to just reiterate the next video is going to be ranking my 2025 SAS list series. It's going to be be very interesting, and we'll see how long that one goes to. One of my goals really needs to be to shorten up my videos durations. But anyway, until next time, I'm going to let you all go with peace, blessings, and so much love. Please do be kind and love one another, and spread your sparkling energy all throughout the world. And until next time, say it with me, happy reading. Bye everyone!